So a while back, they announced this little game called Xenoblade Chronicles 3, right? And it really piqued my interest because there's a lot of people that have had played this series and they love this series. They praise it a lot. So I decided that I too want to play and experience this for the first time. So I went out and got my copy, for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But before that even came out, before that even released, I wanted to play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 because I've heard so many good things about it. And I wanted to, since I'm new to the series, I wanted to experience for the first time and go in that world of Xenoblade Chronicles, right? And the best way is to play the first one. So I decided to play the first one before I even play the third one, and then maybe go back and play the second one, right? So I want to come in here, and I passed the game already. I want to come in here and just give my thoughts and my rating of the game. This is going to be no spoilers because I don't want anyone to get spoiled. Because it's such a fantastic game, right? So let's start off with the graphics. The graphics really impressed me because this is a Wii game that came out a while back, and they remade it, or it's not a remaster, it's like a whole remake to an HD version, a definitive version. That's why it's called Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, right? And it really impressed me because with the Switch games limited to what it could do compared to these big consoles or a PC even, so it's not really up to date in terms of how graphics are now, right? But that's the reason why I could tell in Switch games how developers really care for their game, because the work they put in these games, or their games, with the hardware that they have, and the graphics in the game are incredible. Like it's really impressive what they could do with the Switch, and I loved everything about it. I loved how the water looked, how the characters looked, how the scenery looked, right? So everything. If you're interested in this game, you're gonna get the graphics. Like they look fantastic on the Switch, right? Now let me move on to the characters. The characters. Let me talk about Shulk, because I play Smash competitive, and I've always, I know who Shulk is, but I never played the Xenoblade series, and I really didn't really care for Shulk, because I never understood I knew where he came from, but I don't know why they added him, or why people love that character, right? Shulk is such a good character. They did a great job as a protagonist character because you really get attached to this character, right? And it's really hard to make a game with a likable protagonist. It's really hard, especially when you add voice or anything like that. That's why a lot of JRPGs, they don't really add voice. Or back then they wouldn't add voice. They would just put, kind of like Dragon Quest, where they put the silent protagonist, because they want you to interact or get connected to that character. And sometimes when you add voices or different stuff like that, it takes away from your experience and you don't get attached to that character, right? You mostly get attached to their friends or stuff like that. But they did a great job with Shulk, and the writing was incredible. The other characters that you meet, your friends, you get attached to them as well. You know their background, everything about that, and it's like they make everything perfect where you literally don't hate any of the cast there. They're really all likable. You understand what everything's going on. Like, it's crazy, right? They did a great job. The attention to detail was crazy. Let's talk about the gameplay now. The gameplay, the combat itself was really weird because I play a lot of JRPGs. I played turn-based action and stuff like that, right? When in this game, it's more of a MMO type, kind of like Final Fantasy 12, where it's auto attack. So you target someone and then it auto attacks for you, and you through the game you get arts or skills, right? But they call them arts here, where you could use while they're auto attacking. And at first, I was like, okay, this is kind of simple, right? This is gonna be it's gonna be an okay experience of gameplay, fighting. But then throughout, while you progress through the game, it gets better and better because, well, the combat gets better and better because now it's like, since it's real time, there's no pause. There's no like, oh, he goes first, I go second. No, it just you start fighting, auto attack, and then you yourself with the arts, you have to like manage what you want to use in real time. That's why it's like real time combat, and it gets pretty crazy. Like once you progress, it gets harder and harder and more challenging, which is really good. And I like the system where there's chain attacks with your party members or with your friends, where if you press a certain art and they all have like different colors, and if you use when you use a chain attack and you use the same color from that character, and then the other character uses the same color as well, it creates a chain attack, and you keep going, and then there's like a B button that you have to press, and it gets faster and faster and faster. It just gets hectic, and it's really fun. The other mechanics, there's gems, like crafting, where you make gems out of things to power up your certain character and stuff like that. There's armor and weapons, which I really like how in this game, every time you get an armor piece or a new weapon, they show that in the character while you're playing, and they show it on the cinematics, which is really cool because it makes you feel more attached, because, oh, that's my armor that I chose to look that way, or I chose to use that skin of the weapon. It gets you more involved, you know what I mean? And so that really impressed me how they did that, and I really enjoyed that aspect. I liked customizing my character, how they look and stuff like that. When you go to another place and you skip to that area, there's hardly any load times, which really impressed me, because I'm like, this is a Switch game. Like, where's the load time? Sometimes it would just be instant. Like you travel to that place, you go back to the town that you previously visited, and you just skip travel to that, and it's like instant. And I'm like, what? This is a Switch game, But I don't know. I think that was really incredible and impressive. Another thing I wanted to mention was the music. The music is perfect in this game. Like, it's so good, and it's really interesting or incredible, like how Monolith Soft incorporated this music, and it just makes the game 10 times better with this. Like how everything is just perfectly balanced in terms of the where the game is going, and then they put that music where the moments are extreme. They put that music where the battle music, like, I mean, everything is just perfect. Like the music is perfect in this game, and something that I would always remember and would use now and listen to now that I've experienced that music in this game. So let me talk about the story without spoiling the story, right? I'm just gonna lay out the foundation of the game and the story, how it creates the environment. So basically, what happens is, years back, there was two titans that fought each other, and they froze in battle while fighting each other. They froze in a position, and they became dormant, right? And while they're dormant, they created life forms from throughout their body, like throughout the titans in the titans. And those life forms is you, your world, where you live at. So basically, you are in two giant titans. That is the world. There's grass, there's trees, there's everything, and the whole time you're playing this game, you're on two giant titans, and it's crazy. Like, that aspect, I've never seen that or played anything like that. Like, it's so creative. Like, the way the world they made is really incredible. Like, not only that, but it has a day and night system, where sometimes when you're in the day and you're in this area where it looks okay, right? And then it turns night, and there's like glowing creatures, there's lights, and it just looks incredible, and it's really impressive because, again, this is a Wii game, they came out back then. So basically, yeah, you're on these giant titans, and you come across this artifact, which is the Monado. You know, you could see it in Smash, the sword he wields, that Shulk wields. And basically, what the thing is in the beginning, you know, this is only the beginning aspect of the story. So it's just like, you know, you get this, you come across this artifact, the Monado, and you're trying to figure out what, or understand what this is, and also what your part is in that world. And you just venture out with your friends and all that. But the thing is, like, throughout the progression of the story, it gets crazy and crazy. It reminds me of like Lord of the Rings, where you think you're about to finish the game, and then boom, they hit you with another plot twist, and then boom, they hit you with another plot twist, and it's like that, like constantly, and it's crazy. I experienced a lot of JRPGs, which this JRPG, like, the story started so, you know, straightforward, and then it changed completely to a crazy, like, moments and all that, that I was really attached to the story. Like, there was times where sometimes when they would do a plot twist, I would talk to myself and be like, what is going on, like stuff like that. And there's few games that make me feel that way, and this is one exception as well. And it's crazy, like, it gets crazy. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but honestly, if you love JRPGs, you know, it's a must play for sure. So for my final thoughts, I want to give a rating for this game, and I give this game a 9.5 out of 10 for a JRPG. And I basically think it's one of my top 10 JRPGs I've ever played, because, and this is someone that's new to the series, right? I played so many different JRPGs, and this one is one that I would always adore and take into my heart, because it's so good. It's so good. And basically, if you haven't played it, again, you should go and try it out. If you're gonna play Xenoblade 3, it's fine, because it doesn't connect directly to the other ones, but you know, there's here and there stuff. But if you ever want to go from the origins, or how everything started, how Xenoblade Chronicles universe started, you should definitely try part 1. It's a definitive edition for the Switch. It's really good. I recommend it for anyone that loves JRPGs or anime in general. Like, it's so fucking good. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Catch you in the next one.